Hi there, and welcome to Little Apartment on the Prairie. Today I'm going to be making a tincture out of fleabane, which is a plant that looks a lot like a daisy. You can kind of see the flower heads there. They're yellow in the center with little tiny white petals. They're small flowers. The largest before they're dried is about the size of a dime. Once you dry them, they look smaller because they shrink up. I've had them drying attached to hangers, which were in a closet because I didn't have room in my dehydrator. I've had so much stuff in the dehydrator lately. Today I've got chicken feet in there, which make a great dog treat. Prior to that, I had grapes in there. I've been making raisins, and I don't even remember what was in the dehydrator before that, but I didn't have room for all the herbs I wanted to dry. So I just hung some upside down from hangers in a closet and left us some space between them, about that much space between each hanger, and that worked great. So fleabane grows all over in the Midwest. I'm not sure about other parts of the country. Yeah, you can do some research to see if it grows near you and to make sure you're identifying it correctly if you're interested in doing so. What I'm doing here is I'm just cutting off the flower heads, and then I'm also going to strip some of the leaves off the stems, and the leaves are really tiny once they dehydrate, so it's small pieces. I don't really want a lot of stem. It won't hurt if there's some stem in there, but it's not going to help me either. So I'll tell you about what I'm going to use this tincture of fleabane for. And first I should say that please don't consider this medical advice. I'm not trying to tell you what you should use to treat any condition that you might have. If you're interested in using herbal remedies, you should do some research first and maybe talk to your doctor or pharmacist. Herbs can have side effects, just like standard Western medication, just like an antibiotic or any other medicine you might take. And it can interact with other medication that you might be taking as well. So make sure it's safe for you before you take it. Don't just take it because I told you I'm using it. So I plan to use fleabane to treat urinary tract infections. It's supposed to be good for other bladder or urinary issues. I get urinary tract infections kind of a lot, but I also have fibromyalgia, and sometimes urinary or bladder issues go along with that. Sometimes I feel like I have a urinary tract infection, but if I go to the doctor, it turns out I don't actually have one, but it's uncomfortable feeling like I have one. So I'm not necessarily going to use the fleabane instead of going to the doctor. I'm going to try to use it maybe to prevent urinary tract infections, to help treat infections if I get them, but I may also still take an antibiotic. But hopefully it will help relieve some of the discomfort and help me recover faster. And I also hope that it will help for those times when I feel like I've got a UTI, but the lab test says I don't, but I just feel really uncomfortable. So what you do is you cut off the flower heads and strip the leaves and put them in a clean glass jar. And I'm going to fill up the jar probably about halfway. So I'm actually finding, let me see if I can show you how I'm doing this, that if I just run my fingers down the stem, I can kind of scrape off the leaves and flowers, and that's quicker and easier than cutting them. So the easiest way to get the part of the plant that you want to use is going to depend on what kind of plant you're talking about, but this seems to be working pretty well for this fleabane. Again, I've got one more sprig here. I'm also getting a mess on my kitchen table, but that's okay. I'll need to clean up and sweep the floor afterwards. That noise you might hear in the background is my pressure canner. I'm canning some ground beef today. My dog eats a prey model raw diet, so usually his food is in the fridge or the freezer, but I wanted to can just a little meat for in case my power goes out. If I lose what's in the freezer, I still have some food for him for a temporary basis. So this is my first time canning any kind of meat. I don't eat meat myself. I'm a vegetarian, but my dog likes meat. So I wanted to give it a try and make sure I was doing it correctly and it worked before I canned a bunch. And I probably still won't can a bunch because I want him to have fresh or frozen meat. But this will just be for like an emergency kind of a situation. Okay, so now I've got the jar filled up. It's not quite halfway. That's enough. That's all I really need. And what I've got here is the biggest bottle of cheap vodka that I could find at the grocery store. It needs to be 80 proof. Doesn't matter what, what brand. You don't need an expensive vodka because you're not going to drink it. What you're going to do is pour it into your jar with your plant matter. And I'm going to fill the jar up enough to really cover the plant matter and kind of poke it down in there. Okay, so once you've got the jar filled up with about halfway with vodka, enough to cover the plant matter, you're going to put a clean lid on the jar. You can reuse a lid for this because you're not canning with it. So if it's a lid that you've used before, that's okay as long as it's clean and not damaged. You're going to shake it up. Then you're going to put it in your pantry or in a cupboard in a dark place. Shake it every couple days for about a month. After which you can strain the plant matter out, and the vodka that's left is your tincture. I've got some droppers. I'm going to put it in like an eyedropper, a bottle with an eyedropper is what I'm trying to say. And then you can take a few drops, half a dropper, whatever dose you want, under your tongue, or you can add it to a tea if you prefer. And that's how you'll get the medicinal use out of the plant. I'm going to write the date on the lid of my jar. I just write it right on the top with a Sharpie because that way I remember when it's time to strain it. I'll know when it's been a month. If you've got several jars you've made at different times, that's a good way to keep track of it. And that's it. That's how I'm making a tincture out of Fleabane and what I plan to do with it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're interested in new videos, and you can hit the little bell. It'll tell you notify you when there's a new video posted. Thanks for stopping by.